How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about bank robberies and how much they take on average. Why do I want to look at that? Am I going broke? Maybe I'm considering robbing a bank myself? No, I just think it's very interesting to see these statistics and see what people do in order to get this average $7,500. People get desperate in various ways, and I am not endorsing bank robberies. I feel like the internet's kind of sad that way because I actually have to make this disclaimer, or else people are like, oh, Beat the Bush says he talked about bank robberies, I'm gonna go do it myself just because I talk about it. I'm not endorsing it. I actually had to say that. A few tidbits first. 97% are men. There's a 60% decrease in bank robberies the past 15 years. 85% of bank robberies are made through the bank teller. So people just walk up and hand them a note or something. The average in the US per bank robbery is $7,500 roughly, but in the UK it's actually $143,000. Why is it so much more there? I don't know. It might have to do with how often they collect all that cash and put it back in the vault, because then it becomes a lot safer. Various laws governing the kind of bank robbery might deter some of this crime, so heavier sentences could reduce the crime. This video is brought to you by Moomoo, the commission-free trading app. Deposit just $100, you can get 5 free shares of stock, $100 cash reward, and a free share of C3.ai worth around $30. This is a $100 cash coupon that you can spend if you purchase stock that's over $1,000. Deposit $1,000, you can get all the previous rewards plus an additional 10 free shares of stock. Deposit $5,000, you can get a free share of Tesla or Google stock, your choice. Check out my referral link down in the video description below. So FBI have these bank crime statistics from 2021. Let's take a look at that. They collected all this data, and in 2021 we have a total of 1,964 bank robberies. I went back to the data they have listed there all the way back to 2003. As you can see from this chart, it has been trickling down and down since 2003 pretty consistently. It almost seems like bank robbery among the criminals is like, you're doing what? A bank robbery? No one's into that anymore. Nowadays, people do like credit card fraud. Look at the number, race, and sex of perpetrators. Look at, there's a big fat 0 under Asian female. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but on average, probably Asian females are a bit smaller than other races. They like physically on average smaller, so it's hard to overcome physically people that are trying to stop them. So maybe they go, oh, it's hard to rob a bank, so then they can't even do it. Occurrences by the day of the week. It makes sense that Monday through Friday it's higher because the bank is open, and then Saturdays they're open usually half a day, so then the bank robberies are like about half the amount. But what's interesting is that it peaks on Monday, Tuesday, and then on hump day, Wednesday, Thursday, it goes down a little bit, and Friday it goes back up. So those are popular times. If you want to avoid bank robberies, go on Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe even Saturday. I guess criminals, they want to have a weekend too. They take a day off. What do criminals do on the weekend? I guess they just relax and not rob banks. Look at the time of the day at which the crime is committed. From 6 to 9 a.m., it's very few. So if your bank opens at that time, maybe you can go. I have a feeling these numbers are the way it is because the banks open at 9 a.m. most of the banks. So even if you go before 9 a.m., if they happen to open at 8 a.m., the chances that the bank might get robbed while you're there might be just about the same. You got this institutional areas involved. Most of the crime happens at the counter with 1,660 of it. I suppose it's the easiest to access. Modus operandi used during crimes. The most is using a demand note. So they write something, hand it over to the teller saying, I want $7,500. They probably say, give me all your money instead. I wonder if there are someone out there that collects bank robbery notes. Most of those notes would be held by the FBI as evidence, but maybe if it's old enough, maybe they would discard it, maybe probably burn it. So maybe some of it would get out into circulation somehow. And sometimes things that are meant to be destroyed might get out into the public, and then some collector goes and collects it. Let me go on eBay. Handwritten bank robbery note. I don't think they have such a thing. Not to make light of the situation, bank robberies are very serious. Sometimes people get injured in it, people die from it because people are using firearms. So you got 11 injuries in 2021, 3 deaths. 28 people held hostages. So I think most of the time they don't want to kill anybody, but sometimes they have to. Like the 2 guards died probably because they had guns, and then, they're fighting against them. They don't want to get shot, so then, there's a shootout. But it seems like most of the time this is financially driven. Maybe they just need the money somehow. Another interesting paper I came across is Everybody Stay Cool. This is a robbery. This is a paper that analyzes 5,000 Italian bank robberies. I'm not going to cover this paper in detail. You can scroll all the way down to this chart I really like. Duration of bank robberies. The way to read this table is you got a beginning number of 6,136 number of bank robberies. So you have the time, which is 1, 2, 3, and so forth, right, for the number of minutes. After 1 minute, 27 were already arrested within the first minute, but 380 are successful. And then if you look at the second line, right, it's minute number 2. 5,729 bank robberies are still going on at that time. And by the end of those 2 minutes, 78 are arrested. And you got 1,298 of those robberies being successful. So you see how the totals get reduced as you go down. The number of arrested during that minute shows on the third column. The number of successful robberies shows on the fourth column. So what does this table show? Is that if you're a bank robber, you need to keep it under probably 4 or 5 minutes, because that's where all the successful robberies occur. Most bank robberies start and end within 5 minutes or so. For the Italian robberies, right? The bank robberies on average last about 3.2 minutes. So that's pretty quick, I think as a criminal, whenever you deal with federal stuff, it becomes a lot more serious. Kind of like holding up a post office truck is a lot more serious a crime than holding up a USPS truck or a FedEx truck. When you do it to the post office, it becomes a federal crime. Same thing with banks, because banks are federally insured. The takeaway from all this is it doesn't pay to rob a bank. I find it interesting that there are a lot of ways to earn that same amount of money with a lot less risk. For $7,500, you can probably work minimum wage for 3 months and you get the same amount of money. It's a lot more work, but then there is 0 risk. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed these statistics on bank robberies. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.